What up, everybody? One of the biggest mysteries that remains in the Power universe is Breeze's death and the details that led up to it. But in a recent interview on the Chronicles of Power podcast, showrunner Sacha Penn gave some insight into the events leading up to Breeze getting put down. As he said, it was kind of Kanan's call to kill Breeze on some level, end quote. So that lets us know that Kanan was definitely in on it in some type of way. And this wasn't a call that Ghost and Tommy made on their own behind Kanan's back. He also mentioned about how in Power there were multiple versions of what actually happened. As in one version, Tommy was with Ghost, and in another, Ghost was by himself, and so on. As he went on to say that the characters in Power weren't the most reliable narrators and that most of them were liars. So when we're trying to decipher through all the stories told about Breeze in Power, for right now the version I'ma roll with, and I think that makes the most sense as the story to believe, is in season 1 when Tommy mentioned how it was him and Ghost who took out Breeze together when he was trying to convince Ghost it was Roller who was attacking their operation. As he told Ghost the same reason two former corner boys looked Breeze in the face and shot him in the head. Because when you want that top spot, you'll do anything to get it. And this version of the story also goes along with what Kanan told Ghost when he got out of prison, when he told Ghost, why wouldn't Roller want to take out the boss? It's the same shit that you did with Breeze. You raised Roller and wrote the blueprint to his moves. So I think the reason that these are the most believable version of the story is because the fact it was Ghost and Tommy talking and Kanan and Ghost talking to each other about Breeze's death. And the stories pretty much match. And they wouldn't have a reason to lie to each other about an event when they all knew the details about what happened. While on the other hand, we can kind of write what Kanan and Ghost told Tariq about Breeze getting killed off as either lies or half-truths. Because number one, Ghost specifically lied to Tariq all the time, especially when it came to talking about his past. So that was nothing new. So the first time Tariq asked Ghost about Breeze, we could tell that Tariq had been pondering why Ghost killed Breeze, as he said, you killed your own friend Breeze. For what? For some territory? To get ahead in the game? As Ghost gave Tariq a generic answer that Breeze was a bad dude and he was going to get them all killed. But in reality, I think Tariq was actually right, and the reason why Ghost killed Breeze was over money, territory, and to get ahead in the game. Especially when we're going off what Tommy told Ghost, when you want that top spot, you're willing to do whatever it takes to get it. Then if we look at the second conversation Tariq and Ghost had about Breeze in episode 610 and 615, when Tariq asked Ghost to tell him about Breeze, Ghost told Tariq that Breeze got in the way of his future and he gave Breeze one last chance, and Breeze forced his hand. Was that the truth though? Or was he just saying that as a way to try to manipulate Tariq or intimidate him into doing what Ghost told him to? As he ultimately looked at Tariq in the face and told him, don't force my hand, son. And Tariq definitely saw what Ghost told him about Breeze as more of a threat than anything else. As Tasha ultimately said to Tariq, he said he would kill you, and Tariq said he didn't have to say it. He didn't have to say a word. I could see it in his eyes. And concerning Kanan's story he told Tariq about Ghost killing Breeze, it was more of a half-true, as he was already lying to Tariq about everything else anyway, and telling him his name was Slim. But after watching Raising Kanan season 5 and being introduced to Breeze, I think one part that Kanan was definitely telling the truth about was Breeze being predictable and having the same routine and watching Jeopardy every day, and that's when Ghost and Tommy clipped him. Keeping in mind that's at least around 5 years after the events of raising Kanan when Breeze died. So by that point, Breeze is older and he had been running things for a while, and he was likely comfortable in his daily routine and didn't see any threats. Like what OG Kanan, the narrator, said when Lou and Rock put down Cartier Duns for Reed. It's a short stop at the top. Don't matter if you're a CEO, baller, rapper, or you slang. You ain't gonna be the best for long, but you tell yourself that you always gonna be there. That ain't nobody better than you. But it ain't even about better. It's about that guy who's younger, faster, tougher. The guy who ain't got shit to lose like you do. See, the thing about the crown, man, is once you wearing it, you ain't as hungry no more. You start feeling comfortable, safe, satisfied. How that shit go? You done fallen and you can't get up. And when you fallen from that top spot, you down. You down for good. And even though that was the narration for Cartier for Reed's death, it was actually a perfect parallel to how Breeze ended up getting too comfortable in his daily routine and was put down by his young boys, Ghost and Tommy, who, like Kanan said, were younger, faster, and tougher. In this same interview, we ultimately also got the answer to why Breeze felt so safe and comfortable, as Sacha Penn confirmed that Breeze was indeed Defcon's son. So similar to D-Mac and JP, Breeze was actually Defcon's real son. So with that said, Breeze literally saw Kanan as his real brother for all those years. And like he told Kanan when he bought him that car, we're brothers. And I don't know if that shit means anything to you, but it means everything to me. So if Breeze never finds out the truth, he's ultimately gonna die thinking that Kanan had his back and nobody would mess with him, knowing that they would have to deal with Kanan, only for it to now be revealed that it was actually Kanan's call to put down Breeze on some level. And when it comes to Ghost and Tommy taking out Breeze while he was watching Jeopardy, I'm reminded of what Breeze taught Kanan in season 5, that you gotta measure and mark 'em up. That's ultimately how Kanan slid on Marvin, and how he taught Ghost and Tommy to take out Breeze when he was least expecting it, as they broke in his apartment and waited for him to get there and get comfortable watching Jeopardy. And like I've said over the past couple days, Penn saying that the characters in OG Power weren't the most reliable narrators and that they were liars also gives him a little more flexibility with the story and leaving the potential for Breeze to be in Origins. And I personally think it would be fire if Breeze getting killed and Kanan going to prison happened around the same time. And as Kanan was thinking he was finally going to get Breeze out the way to run things the way he wanted to, that Ghost also sets Kanan up to go to prison. It's like what Kanan taught Tariq. You gotta be 3 moves ahead. And the easiest way to sneak up on your enemy is to make them think that they already won. What if that was the exact tactic that Ghost used with Kanan after they put down Breeze? As Kanan was thinking he was now at the top, they set him up to get arrested. Just a potential scenario to throw out that would mix things up a little, because personally I do think that Origins would probably be more interesting if Breeze is in it. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.